Welcome to In the Cut, the show that gets you up close and personal with BN and our community.
Good afternoon, evening, or morning. Welcome to In the Cut, the show that gets you up close and personal with Black non-believers and our community. My name is Edith Gray, and I am your host for the show today. If you are new to the channel, In the Cut is a production of Black Non-Believers, a 501c3 organization headquartered in the Atlanta area. We connect with other Blacks and allies who are living free of religion and might otherwise be shunned by family, friends by providing a caring, friendly, and informative community. Instead of accepting dogma, we determine truth and morality through reason and evidence. The mission of Black Non-Believers is to provide secular fellowship. We nurture and support non-believers in coming out. We encourage pride in non-religious identities. We educate the public on the history and current state of non-belief in the Black community. Black Non-Believers, we also organize events and charitable causes. We welcome all, regardless of age, gender identity, sexual identity, national origin, or racial identity. However, our content and our work prioritizes Black non-religious voices. At this time, I would love to welcome the founder and president of Black Non-Believers, Mandisa Thomas, to the show. How are you today, Mandisa?
Hey, Edith, I think like many people, I am still processing last week. People don't realize that even though as a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and that much of our work is not necessarily, we can't endorse political candidates. A lot of what we do is political. And also because we are a federal 501c3 nonprofit organization, what goes on at the federal level directly impacts us. The lawmakers who oversee federal agencies and also legislation and policies, they have the power to impact our work. And what we are seeing so far from the results is absolutely mind-boggling. It is scary. And these are things that we need to be paying attention to. I recently put out an email to our membership and through our social media about how these policies will directly and adversely impact people of color, women, LGBTQ folks. And this is just the next 4 years are just absolutely going to be devastating. They have the ability to be devastating for many of us.
Yeah, and the effects will be long lasting. Unfortunately, because usually when rights go away, we don't claw them back like we should. So people will trade real freedoms for false claims of danger. Right. So, I'm kind of with you as far as trying to get over and process what happened last week and what's to come down the pike. And yes, I think there's a sense of unease, but so I look for as many positives as I can and just keep working and, doing something every day positive to realize a difference, But
right.
Yeah, there's been a lot. And yes, Christian nationalism, I think, is at the forefront of this. It's and it's one of those things where Christian nationalism and Christians work together. Some Christians work together, it's overwhelming when you look at it from that perspective.
I mean, it really, really is. And now is the time for us to, to really, really regroup and really continue to make our voices heard. It's just, it is sad how they're using legislation and laws from like the 1700s in order to justify the things that they are trying to do. And we ought to be looking at that very, very closely, because that, of course, was at a time when only rich white men had rights, which is what is being parroted right now under the guise of, well, we are being no, they're not being inclusive of everybody. They really aren't.
No.
Um,
No. So yeah, it is a setback for our nation. The experiment that we've been working on has suffered a setback. Yeah, but we cannot just walk away and leave it be and not challenge anything that's going on, because just if you want to look at it in a way of saying, well, the bullies are in charge now, or they think they're in charge. A lot of times when you stand up to a bully, they shrink, they recoil.
yeah, unfortunately, we're not seeing that with this. He's the type of bully who pushes harder.
Well,
What we're seeing, and it's
yeah,
unfortunate. Yeah.
right. But we have to keep standing up. We do.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. Oh no, go ahead, Edith. I'm not sure if you had anything else to add to that.
no,
Uh,
probably it'll come out later.
okay.
But for now,
Yeah, we'll
you
just
all,
move on. Mm-hmm.
mm, yep.
No, I was just saying thank you so much to everyone who is tuned in today. And because we will be at BNC Con during this, at the beginning of December, we just want to mention that Giving Tuesday is coming up. And that is usually the day after Cyber Monday, where people can support their favorite nonprofits. Of course, it's always good to do that year round, but Giving Tuesday is coming up, and we are, of course, asking everyone to show their support for our work at Black Nonbelievers. We were backstage earlier. We were talking about the blue bracelets that some white women came up with, because they were understandably frustrated by the number of white women who voted Republican this year, or who voted conservatively. And so they naturally they were shocked, like so many other people. So they wanted to come up with this idea of this blue bracelet to show Black folks and other people of color who was safe. And it's like, well, first of all, anyone can wear something and make it appear as if they are safe, when it's truly your actions that show this. And the thing that we've been saying, as women who represent a still very underrepresented and very underfunded organization, if you are a progressive if you are a progressive person and you want to support the work of Black people, if you want to support Black folks, as my favorite group, my favorite cookout white people, Moonchild, says, spend your privilege. That is one of the best ways to help us. If you have resources, if you have access to funds that will help the organizations doing the important work, donate to them, donate to us. It is very, very important. You can see in the description how easy it is to support our work, and also support the work of organizations that are doing the work. They are boots on the ground. They have been encouraging people to get out and and take political action, encouraging civic engagement, and also doing that very, very important community work to make sure that other people's voices are being heard, and that also underserved communities are getting the help and support that they need. And so that would be the best way to show your allyship.
Right.
And it's like, we try not to do the performative stuff, right? Because as tempting as that is, it really does undercut the hard work that people are doing on the ground. And we want to be careful not to do that. We want to be careful that we are still treating people, well-meaning people, like human beings, but also that we are able to have conversations and discourse in a way that we are learning from each other, that we are helping each other move forward, because we are in for a shit show. We're already seeing it. And the best thing that we are really, really going to need from everyone, even if it's just a few dollars, to support our work, support the work of the organizations that are on the ground. And and it's just like those who put their money where their mouths are and don't expect anything in return for it. They're not looking to be the savior of these organizations and savior of these people. Those are what good allies look like. I mean, we're just saying that is what, and it's not hard. It shouldn't be that difficult to point that out or even to do, but it just seems like there are so many people who just can't seem to figure that out. And it's just like, wait a minute. We've been telling y'all for years what you can do. Now it's time for you to start doing it. Plain and simple.
Yeah. The position, just to go back to the example of the bracelet again. Yeah, the position seems to be, unfortunately, still stemming from fear and misplaced. And then, the fear is, oh, well, help me get over my fear by, I'm going to show you I'm this and I'm that. When again, the actions that need to be taken are within their own community a lot of times. I would say it's a twofold approach. Donate to Black people, pay Black women what they're worth, and then go tell your uncle off at Thanksgiving dinner also. Do both. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. Yes, you can do all three. There's more than one approach that can work.
All right. Just for those who aren't really clear on when's Black Tuesday, I'm not a big shopper, so I'm not sure when is it the day after Thanksgiving, that weekend after Thanksgiving? Whatever date.
Yes, it is. It's after Thanksgiving. You have Black Friday, which is the day that people usually start their Christmas shopping, and when things go on sale. Then you have Cyber Monday, which is where people do a lot of online shopping. But then there's Giving Tuesday, and there's also a Black Giving Tuesday that takes place, I think, at the end of August. We will be, looking to participate in that next year. But yeah, there's now a specific Giving Tuesday for Black organizations. But of course, on Giving Tuesday is good for any organization. So, but yes, that it usually follows Black Friday, then Cyber Monday, and then Giving Tuesday. All right, and that's it for me, Edith.
Okay. Yeah. I froze up. Hello. Well, I kind of froze up, I thought, but yeah, Mandisa is.
I'm still here. We're getting ready for.
Okay. All right. I thought my connection was bad. So now it is our pleasure to welcome our special guest, Kyria Santa, who is from Pelzer, South Carolina, is a first-year graduate student at the Rollins School of Public Health at Emory University. She is pursuing her MPH in epidemiology. She is the founder and president of Emory Secular Students, with our mission to create a safe space for non-religious students and religious students who are questioning their faith. Kyria looks forward to working with BlackNonbelievers and many other secular student organizations. Welcome to the show, Kyria. Hope I didn't pronounce your name wrong.
No, you pronounced it perfectly, actually. And the thing is, my last name is traditionally pronounced Santa because it's Spanish, but we usually just go by Santa. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, as we ask all our guests, please share your upbringing and how you arrived at your non-belief.
Yes. So I was born and raised in a deeply Pentecostal / apostolic Christian family. Like, in my family, it's not a question of whether you're a Christian. It's a question of what church you go to, how often, that kind of thing. So Yeah, I was actually a Christian until very recently. I've only started identifying as an atheist until January 2023. And when I look back on it, I was actually deconstructing my faith for a long time, but I didn't identify as such because the main thing that kept in my head was me being gay. And I realized that for a long time. However, when I was a Christian, whenever I would have this question, like, hold on, why would my loving God send me to hell because I love women instead of men? When I was a Christian, basically the cognitive dissonance would kick in and I would just override that question I had. And I would just say, oh, well, God knows what's best for me. He knows it wouldn't work out anyway, or it's against his natural divine plan, blah, blah, blah. That's how I always do it. But the thing is, the last time I went to church, which was, I think last year, maybe, I don't know. It was something my pastor said, who was also my grandfather, by the way. It was something my pastor said during the service because he really wanted to hammer home the point that the rapture is coming soon, so get right with God. He just said bluntly, it's either Jesus or hell. Now, even though I've been taught that both explicitly and implicitly during my life as a Christian, it was something about that moment that made me feel genuine fear and uncomfort. And it's like a light bulb went off in my head. And I was like, okay, wait a minute, something's not right here. So literally after that, I just went back to college, back to my dorm room, and it was just me alone in my dorm room and my laptop open and YouTube. And that's where I started earnestly deconstructing my faith, honestly, because I had questions and I needed answers. And I feel like I couldn't go anywhere else with these kind of questions. Like the kind of questions I had were not the ones that were acceptable at Bible study or a sermon or anything. So honestly, yeah, I didn't have a community because my college, very much Christian based. Like, don't get me wrong, it's very open and liberal and stuff, but like the majority of clubs there are all Christian. The chaplains are Christian. So it's like I didn't have an avenue neither at home or at my college to actually have like some comfort or questioning about this. So yeah, it was just me alone in my room and on YouTube. And I'd like to give a special shout out, honestly, to these creators because they honestly helped me deconstruct my faith. And those creators are Alex O'Connor, the Magic Skeptic, Believe It or Not, Matt Dillahunty, the late Christopher Hitchens, Sam Harris, and Richard Dawkins. I would say those are the main people and creators who really helped me. It took a mix of styles too. Like a lot of people like to say like angry atheists don't get anything done. Well, for me, it was both the friendly and the angry atheist that got it through to me. That really, it took someone yelling at me through a YouTube video to really hammer in the point. Like, wow, the stuff I believe is messed up. Like, or the stuff I was indoctrinated to believe was messed up.
Right.
And at some point when I officially declared that I was an atheist, it wasn't like a earth-shattering thing to me. It was like, okay, I don't believe in God anymore. I don't follow Jesus anymore. And it was like a morning where I like to do runs because I like to run early in the morning, especially in college. And when I was on my run, I honestly felt like a weight was lifted off me. I was like, wow, I don't believe in God anymore. It was just, I can't describe it. Funny thing is, the ironic thing is, I feel like I was delivered in that moment. Like it was like, wow, okay, I don't believe anymore. And then ever since then, yeah, like I said, it's only been since January 2023, so I'm relatively a new atheist. So it'll be a fact to say that I've been a Christian longer than I have been an atheist. So, but yeah, now I'm just very adamant and outspoken about my atheism. But mind you, I'm still someone who's in the closet because I haven't told anyone in my family. They all think I'm still following Jesus, but I just don't show up to church anymore. So yeah, I would say that's the bulk of it.
Wow. Okay. Very interesting story. I was going to ask you about, you had questions about like, how could this deity not love you for who you love? About how old were you when you started having those kinds of questions come up?
Honestly, yeah, I would say middle school because that's when I genuinely did have my first love, who was my best friend, who was a girl. So that's when the questions started rising up. And funny enough, I didn't question. I guess I must not have been paying attention in church, but like I didn't know that being homosexual was a sin in Christianity until I was in middle school because I overheard other people saying it. I was like, wait, what? And then and then but yeah, it was confirmed in my church, and I was like, oh right. So I don't know, it's a kind of funny thing. So
yeah. So you don't. So your folks don't also know that you are gay either, or they
they
just don't
do.
know that.
It's just my immediate family though. Like it's just my immediate family because they're the only ones I feel comfortable, like relatively comfortable telling. But I'm not gonna lie, with my personal relationship with my mother, it was rocky. Like she did not accept me at first. It was a lot. She hurled a lot of slurs at me, that kind of thing. But our relationship is better. She is more accepting of me. Like I can actually talk about my sexuality and stuff. I wear like pride clothing sometimes and she likes it. So it's not it's not one of those relationships where it was always either or, where it was always not accepting or always accepting. It took some time. So I also had
That's good.
compassion for my
That's
mother
good.
in the
You
sense
do
that,
have.
yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh,
You had
yeah, I was
compassion for
just,
your mom because it's.
yeah, because I mean, I grew up in a strict church, but she grew up in one that was even more strict than mine. Like, she grew up in the kind where the women all wore turbans and like they couldn't show not one part of their skin. Like the kind of church where they
Mm,
assumed they were Muslims or something. Like,
mm,
so just having compassion on her on that end, because in her mind, she genuinely thought that she was helping me and loving me with the things that she said, even
yeah,
though she wasn't.
yeah,
So it also took that.
yeah. Yeah, I also just wanted to touch on quickly that feeling of redemption or that weight being lifted off. I had a similar experience. When I came away from religion, I've been an atheist, I think, or I realized that there was no God. I'll put it that way. Probably now, 10 plus years, a little bit over
Mm.
like 12 years. So um, we hope that you'll continue on the journey of deconstructing, and kudos to you for all you've done so far.
Thank you.
So, yep. And so it's interesting. Your choice and major is a good one. Public health. We're going to need you as
If
a
we
public
make it
health
that
graduate
far,
student. But yeah, as a public health grad student, how do you think the incoming administration will impact your work?
oh, it's already a known thing. Like the day the election results came out, a lot of people didn't go to class, and neither did I. But apparently, like I had classmates who did, and they told me that the day of our epi class, like basic intro to epidemiology, the chair and the dean of epi were there, like to address students, like because they knew we were going to talk about it, so they figured they would address us too. But
Right.
they were just there to talk about it. Like, it was kind of a vague kind of thing. Like from what I've heard, it was like, does anyone want to share anything about how they're feeling? And yeah, that kind of thing. But apparently one of my classmates told me it was the TAs, the teaching assistants, who actually started the conversation. Like they raised their hands and were like, yeah, we're concerned. Like, are we going to have jobs after this? Like, like,
Yeah.
because Trump just by himself is an enemy to public health. Like
Right.
there's no ifs, ands, buts about it.
Yes.
He alone is a climate change denier. He in his last administration, he pulled us out of the Paris Agreement. I think we got back in there afterwards, but just that's one example. And he is the kind of person where people may have forgotten this, but I haven't. But back during COVID, he suggested that Americans should inject themselves with bleach to combat COVID. And this is the
Yeah.
person people voted for.
I
So
that.
yeah, no. And
Yeah.
like we
Yeah.
were talking about earlier, it's like his cabinet picks, they're also anti-public health in specific things. Like they specifically said they want to gut funding for the CDC, the NIH, and they want to gut funding, I believe, for the Food and Drug Administration as well, the FDA. So it's like, what are we going to
Right.
do as public health
Right.
people?
So yes, there's a definite. There's definitely going to be an impact. Just wanted to shout out our super chat from Native
Ooh.
Atheist. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah, so we'll see how far they can get, and hopefully we can hold the line, so that we are not, in a place where we can't come back from. Why should more colleges and universities be receptive to student groups that provide community and support for non-believers, in your view?
Yes, well, given my degree, epidemiology, we're all about data, right? And the data shows that more and more students are identifying as non-religious or nothing in particular on their scores. For example, there's a statistic that says almost 50% of Gen Z are identifying as non-religious, just across the board. That's Gen Z. But actually, I had a meeting with someone here at Emory the other day because we were talking about stuff for the club, and he actually showed me a site linking to Emory's spiritual demographics. And it turns out, yeah, the demographics show that a lot more students are coming in as non-religious or nothing in particular. In fact, it's actually something that stood out to me is that Emory actually has a school of theology as well. And of course, the dominant people there are religious, of course, but apparently 20% of them aren't. So that may not seem like a lot, but for a school of theology, I'd say that's a good direction. So, I mean,
Interesting.
so
Yeah.
I mentioned all that data to say, like, this is statistically founded and needed that as more and more students come in and they're non-religious, I feel like colleges and universities should, just like they do with any other student demographic, address the needs of that demographic and say, hey, we're here for you too.
Right.
It's not just religious people who deserve clubs and communities. No, you guys deserve communities too. Let's
Right.
address their
Right.
needs.
Yeah, we've so long tried to, I mean, from a historical perspective, the religious groups and the religious institutions in this country have enjoyed a lot of privilege,
Yep.
and so um, it's going to be also a challenge. But we're working. I think we're moving in the right direction to counter that narrative and bring other people into a place of acceptance of non-believers. So yeah, that was all the questions I had for you. Mandisa, did you have something to add?
Yes, I do. Thank you for sharing your story, Kriya. I mean,
Yeah.
for your grandfather slash preacher to say what he said.
Oh, that's
It's
not the only
just,
problematic thing.
I totally believe that. It's just like, whoa. That is just absolutely, that is just absolutely, I can only imagine how heartbreaking that was for you.
Mm.
Tell us how you found like the Secular Student Alliance and how even being like what we consider a new atheist,
Yeah.
what was it like to find, like non-religious organizations and just jump in and get involved?
Yeah, honestly, for me, it was just like I'm the kind of person where once I have those questions and the answers, I just go down a rabbit hole. So, of course, as I was consuming content on YouTube from like platforms such as the Atheist Experience and platforms like that, they also mention other organizations such as the Secular Student Alliance. And I believe I didn't pay attention to it right then and there, but so I don't think I got it from them. But as I was searching for scholarships, because I always am, I was just curious. I was like, are there any scholarships for non-religious people or non-believers? So when I did my search for that on like Google or whatever, I found like scholarship opportunities at the Secular Student Alliance, and that's how I found out about their organization. And I was like, heck yeah, I want to join. Like, this is amazing. Now, after I joined, I didn't immediately like think to start my own club at like Furman, unfortunately, because that's the undergrad I went to. Because unfortunately, even though deep down I wanted to, I would pick the brain of like my friends who are also non-religious or like in between. And unfortunately, they said that they were scared for me to start one because they were afraid that people would like try to disrupt it, to say the least. So that was the main reason. But when I got here to Emory, they reached out to me because I sent them a video for Ask an Atheist Day, and they really liked the video. And based on that, they emailed me and said, we think you would be a strong candidate for like starting a club at Emory because there's not a chapter there. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll go ahead. And then in terms of being a new atheist, like, since January 2023, the sad thing is like, I can't believe I ever was a believer. Like, I'm at a point in my life where I actually believe this stuff. But at the same time, I have to remember I wasn't given a choice to believe this stuff. Like, literally, there's baby pictures of me being christened as a baby. Like, and if people don't know what christening is basically, it's not a baptism, but it's kind of like what Christian parents do to give their baby back to God, like basically anoint them with oil and just say like a little prayer or something. So it's like, when you look back on that, it's like, I did not consent to that. Like, I had absolutely no choice in that. So that kind of thing. So that's what I want to say about that.
Okay.
Oh, Mandisa
Okay.
muted.
Sorry,
Sorry.
yeah. So you recently participated in a in a tabling event at Emory. And to answer the question, hey Sheldon, Emory University is in Atlanta. So it's in Georgia, it's in the Atlanta area. So Kriya is local to us.
Yes.
How was the first like tabling event and engaging people in that space as a new student leader?
Yes, it was actually great. It's like I had a lot of anxiety about that because of what our club stands for, but we had a great receptance. We actually got like we had a little sheet of paper that said, "Please send me more information." Like if people were interested, and we actually got our first two signatures before we completely finished setting up. So that was already a great start because my goal for that day, I was like, okay, if we get at least one interested student, I'll be happy. So it's like we already went above and beyond our goal because we ended up getting like 7 or 8 signatures that day. So it was like fantastic. But it was just a great experience because like there was people stopping by because they were interested, or people stopping by because they wanted to pick up some of our tabling supplies like pamphlets or trinkets, that kind of thing. We actually had great conversations with other organizations who are tabling too, like organizations we could potentially partner with, that kind of thing. They were excited to see that the club is here. We also got someone who genuinely was curious, like, the first thing he asked was, have you guys received any pushback because of this? I was like, today, no. Outside of today, yes. So that was fun. But yeah, overall, it was just a great positive experience. I was so happy because I'm not going to lie, I was very scared that some sort of extremists or whatever would just feel insecure in their religion and just attack us or something. But that did not happen. So yay.
Tell them who you got some advice from on tabling.
Mandisa Thomas. Yes, so literally. And I'm just so thankful. Yeah.
Yes, the thing is that it can be very, very nerve-wracking and scary to get out there. But we applaud you for taking that step, because it's what it is what other people need, and you'd be surprised the types of responses that you get. And the best way to do that is just to do it, and to know that you have support in the Secular Student Alliance and Black Nonbelievers, and show folks the shirt you were wearing.
Yes, I was wearing this. Oh my God.
Yay!
Yes.
I'm wearing this today,
Awesome.
and I was wearing it at the tabling. I got some looks, not so good looks, but it's like, hey, I'm promoting. It was really cool. Some people liked it though.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you also had some positive experiences and didn't receive a lot of negativity. Even, so every time that you can speak your mind about who you are and what you believe, it's always a good thing. Yeah, just in a little anecdote, I've got my bumper stickers on my car now. And I also, whenever somebody says, hey, what are you doing after this? Like today I was at the doctor's office. They were like, what's your afternoon looking like? I was like, I'm going on the podcast. And of course they were like, oh, podcast. Then their ears perk up. And then I say what it is. And some people are like, interesting. Some people are like, okay. And, but more receptive responses than negative ones. So
Yeah.
you just need to keep pressing forward on that. And I wanted to ask about so you said you signed up about close to 10 more folks for the group here at Emory. That's great.
Yes, we got 7 or 8 more signatures.
Yeah. So do you have other plans on the calendar for more tabling or more events?
Yeah, we're planning on just having another just simple meeting, like just another casual meetup for people to get in person and get to know each other, get to know the group. Like sometime in early December before finals get too crazy. Just planning to have a time for just bringing Christmas cookies, maybe some coffee or milk, just as a little treat, and just for everyone just to get to know each other. Just a casual link up for people to get to know the club and stuff.
That's great. That's good. Well, I want to thank you for being our guest, Kyria. And so
I'm glad to be here.
Yes, and so what that kind of segues in your future plans. We want to ask everybody to please follow Emory Secular Student Alliance on social media so they can find out about these meetups and all the rest of your events. Sorry?
No, the background was just getting on my thumbs.
Oh. Yes. And so if you're watching the podcast today, if you're a student at Emory University, do join them and participate in their upcoming events. So you're on Instagram at Emory Lowline Secular Students. And there's a link tree, Emory Secular Students. Yes. So those are and I think we're going to post those in the chat or link to the videos here today.
Thank you.
And thank you so much.
They're in the description. And we also look forward to partnering on events with you at Emory. especially since we're local. We're headquartered here in Atlanta. So we definitely look forward to future collaborations with you as well.
Yes, most definitely.
Awesome. Thank you so much again, Kyria.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a really informative interview, and I'm pushing for the secular students at Emory and all across the at all campuses. We definitely need their voices to push back against non Christian or religious thought that's overpowering reason and critical thinking.
Yes.
So
Absolutely. It is going to be, yeah, we definitely need more of the young folks who, and I'm just going to say this on the air as well, that, after the election results, I spoke with my son Miles, who was in high school, and so we were watching we were watching on election day, and so I also asked him how I advised him and cautioned him about conversations in school the next day because we are still in a county that is largely Republican, and I asked him how things went. He said they went fine, and he also said that some of his peers, some of his friends whose parents are Trump supporters, their kids look at them like jokes. They look at them as a joke. And so I'm just like, okay, that is that's a good sign. We're just hoping that we can continue to be influential in letting them know that they matter, because a lot of what is being proposed will impact them, especially if they are LGBTQ, which we know a lot of Republican and conservative kids are. They just can't say anything. So a lot of our activism and a lot of our voices will make differences for them, and those who are, those who need that support. And so, yeah, it's good to see that the younger generations are looking at this like, oh my gosh, something needs to change.
well,
And
yeah, I
mhm,
I think yes, the young folks whose families may have gone for the conservative viewpoint in this election. We just really hope that they will, as they mature, still carry some of those beliefs with them. But sometimes, as they mature, they lose that sort of that belief. But yeah. So if Miles can, and people like Miles can, like you say, support and encourage them,
mhm,
it's going to be a better situation for all of us down the road. But yeah. All right.
absolutely.
So we want to talk about some upcoming events.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We are
Yeah.
getting ready for BNCCon in a couple of weeks. Looking forward to seeing you, Kelly, you, Edith, you, Kelly, and other folks who are going to be there. And so, yeah, it's going to be just a fantastic time. But yeah, we have a couple of things coming up. You want me to read them, Edith, or you got it?
I got it. I got it.
Awesome.
Sunday, November 24th in Charlotte, North Carolina. Election 2024. How you feeling conversation and hangout. It's going to be at Emily's French Bakery at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For more information, please go to meetup.com, Black Nonbelievers of Charlotte, and find out about where you can, do a little more venting about the election. And then Giving Tuesday, as we talked about earlier, is December 3rd this year. So we want you to take this opportunity to support Black Nonbelievers work, or you can do so anytime, right? And again, these are tax deductible donations. Tax time is just around the corner. So please give on December 3rd and anytime you can. And then on Sunday, December 8th, in Detroit, Michigan, we're going to have brunch and conversation. That's going to be at the Hudson Cafe at 12 p.m. Eastern. That is also, you can find details about that through meetup.com, Black Nonbelievers of Metro Detroit. Then we are already have dates on the calendar out in March. It's coming soon. March 21 through 23rd, 2025. We're going to have the Revival of Reason, the Homecoming. at the Oasis Event Center in Morrow, Georgia. So there's going to be more information to come. So save those dates, please, folks. And so we are still looking for new board members for BN. If you are enthusiastic, dedicated, and like to have fun while working, please apply at BN board member. So Mandisa how often does the board meet?
So we have started our meetings back. We meet quarterly, so like every 3 months. We will be having like a meeting on the cruise as well. Deanna and I, shout out to Deanna. Deanna and I are working on a project. We will be rolling out very soon an official membership process for members, so that we can continue the important work that we do. And so, we're working on that, and we've already updated our bylaws this year. Those are on our website. We are forming committees. There will be a grant committee. Also fundraising committees, stuff like that. And so we really want to make sure that we are continuing the work that we do, but also doing so in a way that is fun in the being way, right? Organizational work is a lot, but it doesn't have to be so overwhelming that we are not having fun doing it. Right. And these are the types of folks that we want in leadership. We want folks who know how to have fun, but also know how to get things done. So have fun and get things done. That's a new, let's stamp it.
Have fun, get things done. Love
it.
There you go. Awesome. Yeah, I just brought that up because I, felt like, I brought up how often the meetings happen, just to give a flavor of, the commitment level that's needed. And I'm sure we're going to find some and have a lot of great folks applying to be a board member. So also, next on the agenda or on our announcement, we got the Godless Gospel Music Project. And we're still looking for singers, particularly tenors. So this is a paid opportunity. Submit your audition today at godlessgospel.org. And as always, we will keep you posted on social media and on upcoming shows. You can check out We Are My Dream at Etsy shop and purchase your favorite crochet items. Custom pieces are available at Etsy shop, We Are My Dream. And finally, if you're looking for a great gift to give at any time of the year, you can pick up a copy of Name Dropping. It was created by previous In the Cut guest and new board member Deanna Williams and Jesus Reyna. So this Name Dropping is a frustratingly fun movie trivia card game. And you can click on the link in the chat to purchase it today. There is going to be, I think we're planning to play this on board the cruise. So I'm looking forward to that. And those are some of the announcements we have. And anything I missed, Mandisa?
Nope, that's it. That is it. Thank you so much. We're winding down to the end of the year. We're going to be kicking up our end of year fundraising efforts in the high, we're going to be kicking them in high gear. We will be live after CCon in Miami for the next In the Cut. So hope you're looking forward to that. We're definitely still rocking and rolling, and the support for our work is very much appreciated and needed. So yes, Please do support.
All right. So that wraps up this episode of In the Cut, and we really hope you enjoyed the show today, and that you will join us again. As a reminder, we air every first and third Saturday of each month. Please do not forget to like this video and spread the word. And follow us on Facebook at Black Nonbelievers, Instagram at Be Nonbelievers Inc., and X, formerly Twitter, at Be Nonbelievers. The B and the N are capitalized. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube at Black Nonbelievers Inc. Our channel is now monetized. Yay! And we thank all of you for tuning in and supporting us. And find your local BN affiliate on Meetup. You can join all of them, or if there's not one in your city, you can become an organizer on Meetup. So be sure to complete the volunteer form on our website if you'd like to start your own chapter of Black Nonbelievers in your locality. So learn more and make tax-deductible donations at BlackNonbelievers.org. And if you want to represent being even more, we've got swag, we've got shirts, we've got hoodies, we've got mugs, shot glasses, and more from our online store. And that online store is blacknonbelievers.org/store-2. So we will thank you very much at this time. And we want to tell you to take care and that we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.